What is going on, Swayze gang? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. In today's video, we're taking the Hellcat to get some paint protection film. Before we get started in today's video, we actually are running a little bit late. I wanted to point out this awesome clock that my cousin-in-law got me. It looks so awesome. I absolutely love it. But before we get started, let's definitely do a cold start on the Hellcat because, I mean, you got to do it when you have a Hellcat. Sounds mean. Let's hit the road. So as we're heading down there, I figured it'd be a good time to talk about why I want to do paint protection on my car. Well, pretty much along the exact same reasons anybody does paint protection is, well, it protects the paint. Now, I have not done any paint protection film since my first car ever, which was a Honda CR-V of all cars, and it actually had paint protection film on the first half of the hood, which it really didn't need it, but the car came with it, and so, you know, it was a nice feature to have nonetheless. But every car that I've owned after that, I have not added paint protection film, mainly because I didn't really know how long I was going to keep the car. And, you know, I wasn't really sure how well it worked. Like, how often do you really get rock chips on certain cars? And so I never did it on any of the cars, whether the Mercedes or the Challenger Scat Pack. One of the reasons I didn't add it on the Scat Pack is because I already bought it used and it already had very minor dings on the hood and the bumper. And so I didn't really worry too much about trying to fix those and then adding a paint protection film over that. The thing that got me convinced on the Hellcat is, well, for one, the MSRP of this car. It's definitely the most expensive car I've ever purchased, and I do plan to keep this car for a pretty long period of time. I don't know exactly how long that is, but definitely long enough that a paint protection film will be worth it on this car. I do plan to take this car to some drag strips, which unfortunately we don't really have any big drag strips here in Utah. I'm going to have to drive it out of state, and you know, driving on the highway at 80 miles per hour, you're definitely going to get some sort of bugs or some sort of rock chips that can affect the paint or chip it. And for that reason, I think it's well worth the money to do a paint protection film. I kept debating it back and forth because it is not cheap, and I'll go over how much I paid for it at the end of this video. But I think it definitely is worth it because I know myself, and when I do get a rock chip on this car and it's major, I'm going to hate myself for not doing a paint protection film. So even though it is a hard pill to swallow right now with the amount of money I'm putting down on doing this paint protection film, it's definitely going to reward itself in the future, I hope, when I get a rock chip and I don't end up seeing it on the paint. I'll also give you guys an update, you know, a year or two down the line and see how well the paint protection has held up and whether it was worth it or if it was a stupid decision. I will note on the Scat Pack, you know, given the shape of the Challenger, you don't get too many rock chips on the hood of the car. If you do get any, which I have received some on the Scat Pack, it's on the very front bumper. And so, you know, knowing that, you could just do a certain section. What I'm going to be doing is actually the entire front end, including the front wide body fenders and the mirrors as well. So I'm doing kind of a full front protection on this car just to be safe, because I would hate to spend, you know, half the money and get just the front bumper and then I get a rock chip on the hood for whatever reason. So I might as well protect myself as much as possible, and I think it's worth the money to do so. But it's totally up to you, just letting you know that I didn't get very many on the hood of my Challenger Scat Pack. But those are my 2 cents on the subject. But we are running extremely late right now, so we're definitely gonna have to hit the freeway and get there as quick as possible, but I definitely think 717 horsepower helps. All right, let's do a little pull onto the freeway. That was fun. All right, we're done messing around. You know, it would be really ironic if right now was the time I get a rock chip on the way to get paint protection film, but it's been a really windy day, so there's tons of crap just flying around all over the place. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't get any rock chips on the way to get a ClearBra film. But let's keep driving. Now, one thing I've actually kind of failed to mention because I focus so much on this paint protection film is I'm also getting my windows tinted at this same place. So they're gonna be doing both the paint protection and the window tinting. That will be pretty cool. That way I don't look like I'm in a fishbowl or anything like that. Give me a little bit more privacy and definitely keep it a little bit cooler in the hot summer months. So that's gonna be done. I'm still deciding what kind of darkness I wanna go. We don't have any safety inspections here in Utah, but if you do get pulled over and it's above, or I guess below, the legal limit of percentage tint, then you can get a ticket for it, and I actually have gotten that before on the Scat Pack. So we'll see. I definitely like it a little bit darker, but I don't want to get pulled over and get a ticket for it. But that is going to be the second thing done in today's video. So this intersection right here is probably the worst one in the entire state. You've got this stoplight over here, and then you've got one like 20 feet ahead, and I have to be in that lane, but there's a car right here. So yeah, it's horrible. It's the worst intersection ever created. I don't know what genius thought this was a bright idea. And one thing to note, I'm at 1499 miles, which means I have 1 mile left until I can really let this car go crazy. I'm super excited for that, but I'll definitely be making a video before I do that. All right, so we just got to Blue Zero Motoring, where the window tint and the ClearBra is gonna be done. And we got the Hellcat right there pulling in. It's looking good. It's the last time you're gonna see it untinted. So definitely take some mental notes and pictures, because after this it's gonna be super dark. All right, so I've been talking with Aaron here at Blue Zero Motoring, and he's gonna be doing an amazing job on the Hellcat. Right now what he's doing is washing the entire front end to make sure all of the dirty grime that I've driven this car through is cleaned up and ready to go. He's gonna clay bar it after that, make sure the surface is ready and prepped for the ClearBra, and then he's actually gonna take off the license plate as well as the Hellcat badges on the side to make sure that everything looks perfect on the surface, and then he's gonna reattach the license plate, unfortunately, because there's holes that they drill into the hood, which I'm still really angry about, and then he's gonna reattach the Hellcat emblem as well. So he's gonna be doing that. I'm actually gonna come back in about 5 days and get the window tint done, and they're gonna double check to make sure all of the ClearBra is done correctly. They're gonna cut off any of the edges that have lifted. So it's really like a two-part process, and we're gonna film as much as we can of it. I don't know if we'll get too much of the window tinting, but it's not really that much to explain on that process. So let's keep watching what Aaron is doing in there, and I will take you through the process. right, so it has been a couple days. I dropped the car off on Saturday, and well, now it's Tuesday. Full disclosure though, they didn't take that long to do it. What happened was Saturday evening rolled around and the car was ready to go except for the window tint, like I mentioned earlier, but it was a horrible snowstorm, and so even though I may have been able to pick it up and drive it, the ClearBra or the paint protection film does take a few days to really cure to the paint surface, and so it's best to leave it in dry, warm conditions, and Saturday was definitely not that. And so I was gonna go pick it up yesterday, which was Monday because they're closed on Sundays, but it was also snowing a little bit and I didn't want to risk it. Also, I left it for them to do the window tint all in one, so that way I only have to go there once to pick it up. But now it's Tuesday, we're heading down there to pick up the car. The ClearBra and the window tint is done. I ended up doing a 17% tint, so that's a pretty dark tint. The only level lower than that is 5%. I didn't want to go that dark because I sometimes drive at night. So let's head down there, and the next clip will be seeing what the car looks like now that it's done. All right, there she is, all done and pretty. Wow, let's take a look. That's perfect. You can't even tell that there's a little seam right here or over here. It's like right up to the paint. Did a fantastic job. They put the emblems back that they removed earlier. That looks good. You can't even tell. That's perfect. That is awesome. And the mirrors are done as well over here. And then obviously the window tint, which I absolutely love. That looks so much meaner now with the window tint than it did before. Especially with the black wheels and the dark window tint. I think that looks awesome. So, man, I'm super impressed. I love what they did. Obviously, I'll be doing updates on how this paint protection film holds up over time, but for now, I'm really impressed with how it looks. The only seam you can really see if you're really nitpicky is right here, but they have to do that in order for it to stick better on these curves. And other than that, it's, you know, you really have to be paying really close attention to be able to tell. But I'd rather have safety in terms of no rock chips or anything on the paint and have a few seams showing here and there that are really impossible to see to the human eye, but if you're really nitpicking, you can find them. I'd rather have that than have a bunch of rock chips on the car. So I'm really impressed. We're about to go pay, and then I'll talk about all the details. All right, so we're back in the Challenger, and I'm absolutely in love with this window tint. It just makes the car look so much different. You can tell, obviously, I didn't do anything to the windshield, and then you have the 17% tint here on the driver's, passengers, and rear seat, as well as the rear windshield. So the car is definitely more private now. I feel a little bit more comfortable driving it. I want to give a huge shout out to Blue Zero Motoring. They're the ones that did all of the work on this car, and they did a fantastic job. Everything all together, they did it for $1,300, which was an absolute steal considering every other place that quoted me was between $1,500 to $2,000 just for the ClearBra. That's not including any window tint. So I want to give them a huge shout out. They work on a bunch of different German cars like Porsches and Audis, Mercedes. They have contracts with dealerships, so they're definitely reputable. They're not just some, you know, shack that does cars on the side. They definitely know their stuff, and I really appreciate their work and working with me on the price as well. So if you guys are in the area, definitely reach out to Blue Zero Motoring. They did a fantastic job. I'll put their information in the details below. They even went so far as to giving me a few extra pieces of the ClearBra so that I can attempt to do it myself on the rear wheel arches so that I can protect it from rock chips from the front wheels when I'm going on some pretty spirited drives. So I'm definitely going to make a video of that and show you my horrible failed attempt at adding this permaplate to the rear wheel arches. All right, now before we finish off today's video, I wanted to talk about just a couple things that I forgot to mention when I first picked up this car because I was so excited to see it again. One of the things is the general care and maintenance of the ClearBra or paint protection film, however you want to call it, and the window tint. When it comes to window tint, I'm sure 99% of you have had window tint done, so there's not really a need for explanation, but the main thing is just don't roll down your windows for the first, 3, 4, maybe max 5 days, depending on the temperature of where you're parking the car. The higher the temperature, the quicker you can roll roll down the windows and not risk peeling off that freshly applied window tint on your windows. So that would be unfortunate. Definitely don't do that. Just give it a little bit of extra time. That way you're secure on it not coming off. Now, when it comes to ClearBra, they're going to give you a little instruction manual or a placard that will explain, you know, the best how-tos on how to maintain your ClearBra. But I wanted to discuss what Aaron told me, which is the tech that installed the entire front end of the car. He mentioned that you're going to want to avoid washing the car entirely for the first 5 or so days. Now, obviously, if you're able to park it outside in high temperatures, that's going to make it a little bit of a quicker process. But since we're here in like 30-degree weather in November, unfortunately, I'm going to probably wait a couple weeks before I really take this car to a car wash. He also recommended to not really take it to one of those brush car washes for like the first 2 months, which I never take my car to those anyways because it's like taking a rake to the paint of the vehicle. So he recommends hand washing, obviously, which is the best for any vehicle, but that isn't always the most practical or easiest way to get your car washed. The better you take care of it, the longer it's going to last. So definitely with that big of an investment, you're going to want to make sure you take care of it really well. So that pretty much finishes off everything I forgot to mention, aside from me getting into almost 2 car accidents on the way home. The first being someone near the A-pillar merging into my car and me just in the last second quickly merging out of the way and avoiding a collision with my front fender. That was very scary. That Corolla definitely should have been paying more attention. The second is me braking because a car in front of me did a hard brake and the vehicle behind me almost hitting my rear bumper. That was definitely a scary experience as well. So definitely stay safe out there. But thankfully, I am in the garage and it's safe. Now let's get back to the video where I talk about the rest of the details. One more thing I wanted to mention before we finish off today's video. I just hit 1,500 miles on the Hellcat, which, if you know what that means, I'm going to be taking this car on a very spirited and fun drive, and I'm going to take you guys along and show you my real true first time reaction putting the pedal to the floor. So stay tuned for that video. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm definitely going to give you guys updates over time and my recommendation as to whether you should do the same thing to your car, or maybe it's best to save that money and keep it in your pocket and pay for a paint job once every 10 years when you're done with the rock chips. As always, find me on Instagram at Schwazy_. I post some cool photos of this hell-raising Hellcat, and check out my other videos while you're at it. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, make sure you do so and hit the notification bell. I appreciate all of you fans out there that are supporting the channel and liking and commenting. I really appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time, stay Schwazy, stay healthy, take care, and have a wonderful day.